It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 225. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, watch the latest episode of Duty Commenced, patch 5.57 notes, presenting the full list of Digital Fan Festival 2021 art contest entries, presenting the Glamoured to Life entries, announcing the Final Fantasy XIV and Twitch collaborative campaign and the issues with it, Death Unto Dawn, Final Fantasy XIV original soundtrack coming to September 15th, 7th 14-hour broadcast schedule and guest details. Also, we got some other stuff. The WoW refugees are coming, and a reminder about our contest. But first, let's shoot the shit. What has been going on this week? Hey, Ruby.
Hey, Yelta. How are you?
I'm distracted because it's the Thursday night before the 4th of July, and people are like basically doing fireworks in my cul-de-sac. So, sorry Wonderful. If you hear some banging. How are you?
I'm great. Probably better than any cats in your neighborhood. I know mine always goes crazy when the fireworks happen. So remember the little fuzzy ones whenever you're popping fireworks outside. But yeah, happy 4th, all that good stuff. I'm great. I probably sound good this week because I actually have the correct microphone going, so that's helpful. Although we got quite a few listens on the previous episode, despite the terrible microphone. So thank you for being a listener. I'm doing great. I have been playing quite a bit when I had some downtime outside of work and other parental responsibilities. Currently, though, I've been playing pretty sporadically. I've been playing pretty solo. That's not because I hate anyone. That is because it's easy for me to just go AFK and I have no responsibility. So it saves me from feeling guilty for anything. So I do foresee myself doing some group content pretty soon. I've been talking about doing some group content, and what little group content I have done has been inside of Eureka. I am still on that Eureka train, and maybe because I'm better heard this episode, I can talk a little more about what I've been doing in Eureka. So, as you'll recall, I was in good old Pyros last episode, and I had just kind of stumbled into it, and it was a harsh place. I think I said, I even died once and couldn't get a res and had to go back because nobody goes to that lower area much. It's kind of an afterthought. And now, because I think I'm 54, I have to actually go into Hydados and check, because I got on the Pyros train and just started leveling because it was doing my challenge log. I did this Tuesday. I was hungry, thirsty, if you will, Yelta. I was thirsty for Eureka. And when I got on Thursday, I had already hit 50. And I just jumped on the train, and it just pretty much took care of my challenge log. I still have a few other things to knock out, and I'll probably go into Hydados to do it. I know, you can go into the Animos and do challenge log. But I actually like getting the real XP from doing, the 60 mobs and getting 230 chains and getting that big XP. And I don't mind burning 45 minutes or whatever doing that. It goes really fast, and if you drink the Potion of Harmony and you do all the... you touch the fairy and all the other good stuff for the XP boost, you will really rack up some XP very fast. So again, if you are a solo player, through the challenge log and, some safe walking, get your stealth, logogram and all that good stuff. But as you go through it, soloing is a viable option in Eureka unless you want to do the Relic. Because if you want to do the Relic, you kind of have to group up, at least enough to do the Fates. And so upon Cryo telling me I'll see you in Hydados, well, let me tell you what happened first. First, I went out and I talked to the Triple Triad dude that I finally unlocked, because the whole point of all of this was so I could do Triple Triad.
To get some cards.
To get the cards. So I went on the boat, I beat the guy for the 4 cards I needed, and I went back into Eureka. So after I unlocked Hydados, I did screw around in there for a little bit and finished that week's challenge log, which was last week's. For this week, I went into Pyros, and by this point, I was 50. And I want to finish the Relic. If you recall, I said that the best method that I have found if you're going to go solo for sure, is do the quests, finish the quests, have Cryo tell you, see you in the next one, and then, now that you're the max level and you're not scared of most of the mobs in there, jump on the Fate train. Start farming and popping NMs. You know, ask anybody, any I don't know what they call them, pop parties or whatever they're called. Any parties. Get
in there and shout.
Shout.
People are like, I don't know how to find a group. I'm like, you get in there and you shout for what you want.
That's all you got to do, really.
And don't shout too fast in between.
Oh, yeah. You know, honestly, if I get out there and I'm soloing and an NM pops near me, a Fate, and I go over to it, and I will either do it in say or shout, and I'll say, any room? And usually they understand. That means like, hey, I'll invite you to my group. I also turn on my party flag, and more often than not, the party flag gets me parties than shouting for it. So turn on your party flag as well. And I just stand there. And if nobody picks me up, nobody picks me up. I put on, I guess this is summoner privilege. I put on Titan Eggy. I stone skin myself, and I just, you know, try not to get hit while putting festers or whatever on it. And make sure you're on the right elements and get max DPS. You know, but more often than not, I get picked up for a party there. And if you're, and usually there's somebody with the tracker and somebody, and you can always ask anybody got a tracker, and somebody is popping these NMs and they're following the tracker to do it. Just go with them. If you start farming the stuff, people will add you to their group because they know you're out there to help. You're not just sitting at camp waiting for the next NM to pop, which there's plenty of people who do that too. Not so much now, I don't guess, but I have just found that the 40 or 50 when I'm in a zone are typically very dedicated. There's at least half of those people that are farming stuff. So we farmed Penny, whatever her full name is, Penithestia, I don't know what her name is, but we were out there in Pyros, and I was on the train, and somebody said, go to Yin Yang, and Blizzard ended as soon as we got there. We turned around. It was fire weather, and we went to Penny and farmed those moths until she popped, and I got 3 of her little orbs or whatever. Now I know what the item is there. So I just need her one more time, and I think 130 more tokens to get to the light step. And I don't know if the light step is going to be easy or hard at this point. I will say that the light step in Pagos was super easy. Like even solo, I was filling the bar up to 9. So it's if it's that level of easy, I'll be walking out of Pyros really fast with whatever relic step that is, the Pyros relic. And then into Hydatos I'll go, and I'll follow the same method. My understanding, I remember reporting on this, even though I didn't play it, was that Hydatos was the victory lap. So I'm hoping that Hydatos is pretty cinchy. It is more like Zadnor and the Bozja content in the sense that, you know, it's one just big chunk and the mobs are pretty spread out. So I don't feel like I'm in those hamster tubes of Pyros, dragons breathing down my neck, and, you know, griffins looking at me from 5 different directions. It doesn't seem to be that bad just yet, but I haven't spent too much time in Hydatos. I've unlocked half the map, but not too much time. And of course, the logical next step is talking about Baldizian Arsenal, which it just makes sense to start working on that front as well. I know people, yourself included, Yelta, would be very interested in getting that mount. I too am interested in that mount, but ultimately, I just feel like, can we really leave these students of Baldizian trapped in this deal and just go to old Charlayan and be like, we're here. Oh, don't worry about the Isle of Val. Not a big deal. Maybe they're trying to forget it as well. Who knows? But I just feel like I want to complete Cryo's story. I get this just kind of 1.0-y feeling, you know? Like, I just really want to get the lore part done. It feels like Coil. I don't want to go into 2.0 or whatever, or go into 3.0 without finishing Coil. This is where I want to be. I want to get this done so I can walk into old Charlayan feeling like I did everything that had to do with Charlayan content up to this point. So, that being said, pretty happy with Eureka. I will soon be back into some Zadnor content, but I really just, and it's hit or miss for me, but I'll do the Delibrium weekly thing. I just went ahead and started spending the gold coins on some gear because it's just so easy to farm those gold coins. And I was just like, let me just get some of this 5-10 gear for my healers. So I know it's not top tier, but I ain't really trying to get top tier on all the jobs. Just shit. Let me get 5-10 on all of them before I start worrying about something else.
That's plenty. You know? Yeah, I told somebody was like, I don't know what to do with all these coins. And I'm like, buy gear sets for alt jobs. If you haven't been... it's going to be more than enough to get started. What's
easier than running near stuff over the last one and still just getting one drop per run or whatever? You know, I might as well spend the gold coins and what the silver coins that do nothing for more gold coins to get this stuff. And I like the concept. I like that it's an alternate way to get some gear for alt. No, again, it's not top tier. It's not best in slot by any means. They're not even really that great, but it's just... it's enough. It's definitely enough. It's enough for me to walk into some kind of alt content with a healer and go like, hey, I can work with this. I don't feel terribly naked going into some EX with this. That's not bad. So, anyway, that's kind of the logical next step. I've been running that. And then I feel like once I get this Eureka out of my veins, there will always, at least between now and the release of Endwalker, everybody's going to be in Bosja content. What else is there to do? It's waiting for me. It can wait. It can wait, you know? Yeah. So I'm not terribly worried about it, but I do like Bosja and Zadnor, and I definitely see how great the lost abilities are in comparison to logograms. Logograms are just shit in comparison to the lost
They were
actions.
really hard to go back to. Belle and I went to do Bunny Farm and did some other stuff the other time, and I'm like, I like the other system better.
It's terrible. You lose the logogram when you leave the zone. It's not like an inventory space. I really love what they did with Bosja. It just goes to show you, we had this evolution from stuff like the Deep Dungeon with you get those abilities in there. We were all like, ooh and ah, when like they can do that in an instance. We get some extra stuff. And then we got logograms, which was, a vast evolution where, you can only raise with using the logograms. That's wild too. And now we've got lost actions. They can do a lot. They can do a lot with this system. It's like making a completely different game within a game. And that's what people are seeing. That we've been talking about this game for a long time. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of things to do. And when you have a game within a game, and currently I'm doing the other game I'm doing the Eureka game within this game, while other people are running the Bosja content that's a game within this game. And soon we're going to have these farmhouses and shit, which is going to be some game within the game. And we're just going to have all these little pocket universes within 14. The amusement park is only getting bigger, folks. Yeah. I mean, they're
it can
really
be a little hard to keep track, but yeah, and I know there's some worry that, content will become dead or whatever, but, every time they do anything or want us to funnel us back in there, they'll find a way.
Yeah. It reminds me of something that actually we're going to talk about later with these the WoW refugee stuff. There's a couple of videos that we're going to talk about, and there's one video by Jesse Cox, and he talks about his WoW experiences versus his 14 experiences, and it reminds me of something he says early on in the video, that Final Fantasy is an RPG MMO. The story comes first. And ultimately, if there's some story behind it, Yoshida's going to make a way that you're going to be able to experience that story to some degree. He's not going to dumb it down all the way, but you can see that you can get some real shit done. If you really want to see Koyo's story, you could run it solo on a level 90 character soon enough if you really wanted to do some kind of go back and run some shit. There's ways that you can do stuff and see the story. So Yoshida's not going to leave you high and dry where you can't experience everything. And I guess that's what makes 14 unique. So The story will be out there. Like you said, if you're worried about some content drying up, I'm in the past relics stuff, and there's at least 50 people. And one time we filled a whole instance, the other day. I think it was Tuesday. The instance filled at one point. And it's like, wow, there's enough people running Eureka content to fill a whole instance still. So don't be afraid to jump in. Anyway, other bullshit I've been doing. White Mage got it to 80. I did do some Zadnor and Bozja content. And I got White Mage up to 80, and then I ran and got its relic weapon and, farmed some fates and all that good stuff. I hadn't got it to the glowy step yet, but I think I'm going to just start working on these alt relics that I hadn't got and spend the poetics I've been drowning in because I've been doing Blue Mage content every week. What a great way to get poetics, by the way, and allied seals, because now I have every mount to the double speed in the El Realm Reborn zones very quickly due to Blue Mage. Yes, it's a silly mini game, but if you do the weeklies on that, you get a lot of shit. So it's worth it. Just running around getting these relic weapons and shit. Decorating my personal house. It was time. It needed an update. I think I changed some rugs. Oh, I think what spurred it was I was getting these drops from Pagos and Pyros that were furniture. I'm like, well, I don't have a spice rack, and I don't have wooden plates. I don't have wooden cups, and I don't even have any food in my house. Let's put some food out. So I got I think I also got like one of my retainers brought a wheel cart. Like you put food on top and it's got wheels, you can push it, a food cart. So I put that up and I put a couple of food and I put some plates next to it, and across the way I put some cups on the counter and I rearranged some things. And then I was like, I never really liked the basement bedroom that we've got. I'm going to rearrange it. And I went all super house mode one night, just completely changed everything. And I brought my wife in the room and I said, look, Cinna, I changed the house. And she was actually happy with it. And she's been playing for the last few days. So I think she's caught up on the story. I think she's in 5.5 second quest. There's only like 3 in 5.55. So she's on the second quest of that one. And then So spoiler alert, a couple weeks back I was talking about that one funny thing that happened in 5.55. The thing I was talking about, Yelta, is when they cut between each of the different characters. You're fighting as this one and you're fighting as this one. But when it switches back to your character, it pops on the screen, you are now playing as Yelta Sumasu. And to me, I just found that so charming that it's like, oh, I'm now playing as... Like, they're treating me like one of the NPC characters. Like, one of the... I don't know. I just found it a very charming moment. I thought it was a home run for me. Maybe not a lot of people picked up on that, but I was very impressed when it popped up on the screen. You will now be playing as Rubicon Vale. I'm like, oh, how sweet. They wrote me in. So anyway, fun shit. Obviously I've had varied fun within the game, from old relic to current relic. The bullshitty personal house stuff. Not many people are into that either, but, triple triad. I think I got 2 cards. I actually didn't get a Shiva card this time when I got my 2 packs for losing the tournament. I got, Nanamo, and I got somebody else, like Minfilia, I think, or something like that. They were actually better cards I could get more MGP back for, because I already have them, and they're not Cecil or... Furion. But anyway, one day. I still haven't done those, the card tournament, the open tournament, and I almost signed up for one, but it was like 1 o'clock at night, and I was like, I don't want to lose. I'm too tired. I didn't go through with it, and I don't know how long it would take at 1 o'clock at night to do it. I guess they pair you up with NPCs if nobody else plays. So I don't know how it quite works yet. Maybe next episode I will have some information on open tournaments. We'll see.
When I joined, it's the NPC and you queue up. I joined with a few actual people, and I think it was a few NPCs. I think they're marked.
And they pair you together? You have to walk up to them or what?
That you just get automatically put on a table with it.
Nice.
Yeah, so I played a few real people, and then I think I played a few... Well, you played 3.
What'd
I
you
think I
win?
played 2 real people. I posted a second or third place.
Ooh.
I think I played 2 real people and an NPC. I don't know. I could be misremembering. I only did it once.
Okay. I'll be brave next time and do it. Anyway.
What's the worst thing that happens? You lose horribly, and someone's like, Rubicon Veil sucks.
Sucks at Triple Triad. But you get something if you get first place. So, I mean, it's worth. It's definitely worth trying. I'd like to get the achievement or whatever.
I keep wanting to put that on my weekly things I do weekly list, and I never remember. Well, it is one of those things where I was too scared because I'd play with against other people that I didn't know. That's, why I did never do it.
You need to make multiple weekly lists these days. There's so much shit to do.
There's quite a bit.
Well, that's all I could fit into my week. What did you do this past couple of weeks?
Well, I didn't play this week at all. This week, I've been seduced by the power of Minecraft. I've started a server for 1.17 and been playing on that. Some from the free companies even playing on it. My mom, my sister, my nephew, my son. But in 14, I did quite a bit of Bozja and Zadnor that week. I was kidnapped and did an E4S mount farm, and I don't know that fight at all. It's real hard for me, though, when I don't know the fight at all, and they're like, oh, just come. And I'm like, oh, they're trying to do call-outs and tell me what to do, and I'm like, I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. But we did farm enough, and I got the mount. I was supposed to on Saturday go to a learning/clear for E9. That's the first floor of the current one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So, but I was too wore out from real life shit. I was go, go, go. Thursday, go, go, go. Friday, go, go, go. Saturday, go, go, go. And I was just done. I'm really sad I didn't get to go, and I'm hoping that they'll... I'd like to farm up some accessories. Before the podcast, I said something about, I'd like to farm up some belts and accessories. And Ruby's like, belts? Why? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I did get a response, my saga of the missing legacy titles. I am missing 2 legacy titles. I think they're the exact same ones you were missing previously. So the steps I had gone through was posted on the forum. They just moved my post, didn't even reply to it, moved it to not enough information. But on the same day, I went into the game, and it had a send us this info. So I sent that info, and I got a response back that says, okay, we're looking into it. We understand it's frustrating not having your titles. A GM will contact you. Well, that's been like a week. So hopefully they'll give me... Honest to God, I don't really care, but I have this thing about if I earned it, I should have it. I'll probably never use those 2 titles. But, so there have been a few times this week where I've just logged in and turned off the music in-game and just, played something else so I would see or hear if a GM sent me a message. But, I don't know. I don't know how long to wait before resubmitting,
Yeah, it took me at least 2 tries, because I remember I got a negative response, or it's not something we handle. But that might have been my forum response, and then when I did it in-game, then, it got a little better. So I want to say it was between 2 to 3 tries before I got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might just resubmit the fill out this list of stuff. I might just resubmit it. Because if I haven't been on, I don't know how many times they're going to check for me, and if I'm not on, they just close my ticket, I assume. God knows at work, if they call you once and you don't pick up, they close your ticket, so. But that's about it. I did not really play a ton of 14, so I think I kind of, again, I don't want to say I burned myself out, but I played a lot. After the last patch, I played solid, and I had been playing even before it. So I think I kind of maybe, I don't know. Whatever I'm into for the moment, I'm into 100%. So I have trouble switching. If I log into 14 right now, I'd probably play it for 2 weeks again. All right, and don't forget, listener, we have the Thirsty for Endwalker contest. Show us your thirst in any screenshot of your choosing, but keep it R-rated or under, please. Send us a screenshot with your character in it, showing us how thirsty you are. We'll pick one winner. The winner can receive a Fantasia, so they can swap to whatever they want to before Endwalker, or your choice of Final Fantasy 4 minions right at your Rosa. Contest ends July 15th, so you have a little time yet. We'll announce the winner on the following episode. Entries can be sent to us by Twitter at GTFFXIV, or you may send it by email at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please give us a way to contact you back so you can get your prize. So don't tweet at us, but don't allow, PMs back, because, yeah. Right. We're not going to send your code in a public tweet.
And it's my understanding, before we move on, it's my understanding that we may have some more great contest prizes on the way, because we were gifted some prizes from a very generous friend, Bell Dandy, thank you, that we may be giving away one of those, what do they call it?
We've got the Fat Black Chocobo Whistle. We've got that we can give away.
Yeah.
And the Kokopur Mount.
Butterfinger, that's the word.
Butterfingers, yes. Yes. So, we'll have to come up with something to give those away. We won't wait 2 years before we're announcing another contest. This vast wasteland may just have to have contests to keep us going.
That's true. And join this contest. Get in this contest. Yeah. We need more entries. So come on. Show us how thirsty you are.
All right, then. Bought us around. We did have a donation, a Patreon. Drill, thank you so much for your donation.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Helps pay for the stuff. I don't like to beg for money, but it helps pay. There are costs, so it's nice. I'm not trying to make a living here, but it's nice to offset some of the expenses. So
Very
thank
true.
you.
Thank you.
All right, the first round is news. Watch the latest episode of Duty Commenced. I think I was gonna tune in, but I was in Bosnia or something. And I did not have a chance, but I know they fought the Cloud Deck Extreme Diamond. I know that. I don't know what else they might have done.
They looked at the art contest entries, all of that stuff at the end. That's actually the part I tuned in for. I think I did a half work from home, but we got this weird stuff at work where we're doing flex days. And I think I did a half day or something that day. And so I think we were just kind of going through Twitch. It happened to be on. It was 3 o'clock or something. And I caught this little tidbit here, and it was neat. I got to see the art stuff. And actually, when I was putting together the notes, I was like, haven't we covered the art? So I was like, oh no, I saw it in the Duty Commence. That's where I saw those art entries. But yeah, it was good. I think they're all still remote, I think, because they're not in the same studio. But then also it helps when they stream, somebody's doing the streaming. And I think it's Aya who predominantly does the streaming, although all of them play, and they're all part of the content there. So anyway, and I don't know if any of what I just said is true. I made all of that up. So, as in, I don't know if they're in the studio or not. I don't know if they are actually in the studio. They may be in the studio, and the way their setup is that it looks only like Aya running it. But it's possible that I have no earthly idea what I'm talking about.
We never claim to be correct.
That's right.
Hope to be entertaining.
Just entertaining, yeah.
All right, then we have patch 5.57 notes. This was not the world's largest patch, but it did some stuff that we hoped, and really kind of made the vast wasteland a little bit more farmable. One of them was the fairly expected Eden's Promise Savage. There's no weekly lockout now. You can queue up for any floor. There's going to be 2 treasure coffers every time. You can now get Echo up to 10%. So that's really what triggered our Saturday event was this change here. Mm-hmm. We try to get those experienced people to help the rest of us get our eye levels up a little bit, and we can learn some stuff we've been previously too scared to do. Mm-hmm. They added the tower at Peregrine's Breach to Duty Alliance. They made some adjustments to the Bosnian Southern Front. This one was necessary. How do you say that name? Dayanubu? Dayanubu? Whatever. He's that asshole who's the field notes. I took forever to find.
Right.
They've added his field notes, or her, I can't remember now, to brought to heal and no can't.
You got it pre-nerf.
Yeah, I did.
Your mount's better than everyone else's. You got it pre-nerf.
I feel the way I feel about every time they ease something after I've got it as well. I know I had it first. I know I did it during the hard difficulty, so I'm not really bothered. And it was brutal. This change, yeah. There's people who are like, fucking finally. It's someone's like, can you link it so the rest of us get hope? That kind of thing. Treasure chests that appear after freeing hostages during the critical engagement, CLL, will now have more forgotten fragments. That's good. Those were pretty rare. And hopefully that will mean people will use more of their forgotten fragments and actually, not be terrible people not using actions.
That'd be good. Look, I'm a scrub at this content. I'm still back in high dados, but I know what's happening in here because I drink my potions. I do it when I go in here, my little skirmisher one. Even if you do just something, I mean, there's even the little trash ones are worth something.
Well, people are worried about, like, it takes too much to get deep whatevers of whatever, and I'm like, you don't need those. Yeah. I'm like, you just do something. Well, it's my understanding now, and after talking to some people, it's actually a lot easier for me to get, like, my Aether Weavers than it is for the DPS to get, like, even a halfway decent damage-dealing one. So, but still, it's like, if you have the time to run the content, try to, or trade with someone. Maybe you got a healer friend who doesn't need all of their fragments. I've actually capped out on, like, some of the ones that are, like, mostly tanking and stuff. I'm like, man, if I should really make a deal with someone and swap. If the fragments are more leaning toward, I don't know what the answer would be, but this should hopefully help, I would think.
Yeah, along that point, I've heard people say, why don't you just sell the ones that you don't like and then buy the ones on the auction house? It's just, make some money and then buy the ones that you need. It's just a lot of energy is wasted on complaining about using a potion or whatever than just figuring out a way to just get the potion and go. But who am I?
Well, and dear God, if nothing else, I try to join the Party Finders where they're doing a full alliance. And I have better luck, but you still, once in a while, someone gets called out for Bob's not using a potion, and we said something about it, and, maybe they shouldn't be allowed.
Report them.
I don't know about that, but could we not get him in the party anymore? Yeah. Also, to ease that issue, the number of Bajin clusters required in exchange for the following items from the Resistance Quartermaster have been reduced from 3 to 1. So, fragments of clarity, contention, finesse, fortitude, and divinity. Hey. So you can get 3, and cluster farms are there, right? Yep. There are cluster farms.
Also, just a shout, anyone cluster farming,
And then the number of time-worn artifacts upon completing Deliberating Regane has been increased from 3 to 1. This one made me actually start working on a relic again. Because just getting one every time 15 clears, that was just like, no, not worth it. Especially for alt weapons, right? I've already gotten 3.
Yeah.
2 or I don't remember. I've gotten a few. Now it's just like, well, for lesser cared about ones, and I don't even know why I'm getting them. Probably just for something to do.
Well, there's a time sink cost, and there's a breaking point where you're like, I'm probably never going to play my Dragoon, so, why would I? Yeah, it's pretty, but I'm probably not going to get it. Meanwhile, Mr. Happy tweeted, and he's probably got them all by now, but, he was like, one caster and one something away from getting all of my relics completed. So, it's not hard to do. It's not very difficult to do.
It's just time consuming.
It's just time consuming, but now it's less time consuming.
And it was a real bottleneck, and we were really surprised they hadn't eased it already. But especially since the last step is whatever, right? The repeatable very last step is kind of whatever. It's no big deal. The field record entry of Fran has been adjusted. And the weekly limitation on Allegan Tombstones of Revelation has been increased from 450 to 900. So that also will help you get higher eye level more quickly in preparation for 6.0.
There you go. I saw a call out on the forums that said, hey, can we do something to get the number of poetics increased? It would be nice to do that. You know, can we get those to like 4,000? Since everything is bought with poetics, is there a way to get the pool larger? I don't know. I feel like Yoshida has said something before, but it's difficult to do that. But they've made strides with the way that they've reduced inventory counts and things. So maybe they can. Well,
even if you couldn't do it at first, right? Let's say like you didn't want to let them do it at first, but like maybe when you hit 60, it opens. I don't know. There's no reason, really.
Or a gobby bag quest to unlock a certain number.
Oh my god! I was thinking about limit break quests, gobby bag quests, and I was thinking about. Fighting Matt the other night. I was like laying in bed thinking about Final Fantasy XI for some reason. Yeah.
Well, I'm in Eureka, you've got these 1% drops or whatever to like level up your Magia board. And I don't know how many people even do that to any degree, but like, you can get up to 6 or 7.
I have like 2 items and somebody was going to send me 2, but I don't think I ever saw them. Bell Dandy.
Yeah. So
but, he wanted to go in and like get me so I could have 6, whatever it is.
Yeah, which would be really nice in there. I'd love to get it myself, so hopefully on these Pyros runs I may get super duper lucky, because I don't want to drop like 2 mil or whatever it is for them. I haven't looked at the market board on those lately. But, just something that gives you like a longer lasting effect, although it kind of blows that, once I get my BA clear or whatever, I probably won't care about it anymore. So, but something that would maybe give you a lasting... something, and I think a limit break quest to get more poetics could be one way. And then again, people would say like that's such 2.0 bullshit. We don't need that kind of bottlenecking or make you do a quest to do something.
I know people who are dying for poetics all the time because they're going back and doing all the old relics, mostly because of that.
Yeah,
it'd be nice.
My 2 cents.
All right, let's see. They added the Visit Another World server option to the subcommand menu on the character selection screen, allowing you to log in to another world. I haven't tried this. I don't change worlds very often yet.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. It's nice, though, that you could just, instead of like logging in, not that it's hard, but logging in, teleporting to a crystal, and then logging into another server, it doesn't hurt.
No. I mean, it's good for checking market board prices. My
That's
wife
true.
does it. She goes around looking at all the market board price before she buys something. Makes deals. I mean, that's how you make money. You got to spend time to make money. So I'm just like, buy the shit. Let's move on. I don't care how much it costs. Just get it.
I guess it depends. But yeah, like I should have shopped around. There's a couple of bunny box mounts I didn't have. I had some, but not another one or whatever. And I finally just went and fucking bought it. And I probably should have shopped around first. Quest completion can now be confirmed via the character profile page of the Lodestone. People go to the Lodestone?
Anyway. I guess if you're going to stalk people on... never mind. Yeah. I don't know. There was that forum post where the guy said he was getting stalked by his Lodestone profile. I'm like, okay.
I don't know how you get stalked by that. I mean, I suppose I could find what's... I don't know. I don't know how...
Which of the 12 do you serve?
But they never really described, did they, the actual essence of the stalkings?
No, they got the ire of a pretty aggressive forum website and had a 138-page forum post about them on said website.
I think wasn't that it decided you probably had to do something
dug
to get
their
that,
own hole in some
know.
regard, something like that.
I don't know.
Oh, official forums never change.
It's really something. It's pretty entertaining some days, and those I get wound up too because I fall for the bait every time.
Oh, MPK gets you or Titan Man?
Titan Man, usually Titan Man. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so you can now stalk and look to see the quest history and date of completion. Oh, but it's only for you. It can't be seen by other users. Okay.
Oh, sorry, can't stalk.
No.
My bad.
There's a bunch of resolved issues now. Not many of them seem very interesting. One of them I had seen reported was the flower shower emote. Did not display when used by female Elizan, female Ro, and Rothgar under certain conditions. That was interesting.
More Rothgar hate. Come on, Yoshida. Get this shit right.
All right. That was it. Now, none of those seemed super impactful. None of them were like adding content, but it really did get a lot of people in working on their reinvigorated people, I think, to work on their relics.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I saw a lot of responses from people saying they were getting ready to do the relics again, and then I've just seen on Twitter people posting their new relics, and it's just every day I see somebody else get a new relic. I see some people with their other fourth alt relic, and I'm like, okay, you do you, go. All the alts.
I have thought about going in and getting like
going.
an alt for like a relic for like an alt character, but I don't have the energy for that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right, presenting the full list of Digital Fan Festival 2021 art contest entries. There's a lot of them, I guess.
Let's go through each one.
No, no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No. But this is. We looked at the site before, didn't we?
I think so. I think one was like
physical handcrafted, and you can pull up cute. And yeah, there's the Great Serpent of Ranka.
I think they were giving us before the a smaller pool of entries.
This is full. Okay.
Yeah, and now we're getting the full list of entries. They had pared it down to like the final ones, and now we're getting
all
more.
The entries.
All the entries.
Okay.
Finalists
and there were a lot. There were a lot of entries.
Yeah, now that I'm clicking entries, there's a lot here. So find yours. If you did some art, not you specifically. If you did one, you can find yours as well.
Not.
But if not, and you did do one, listener, go find yourself in here. Let us know which one you did if you're a listener and you want us to give you a shout out of your art.
Yeah, we don't mind helping brag.
Yeah.
Very interested to hear what our listeners are up to. Presenting the Glamoured to Life entries. This was part of the Digital Fan Festival 2021 special site, and it's again a similar site, except for it doesn't have the different things. Well, we have a Amartine. No, it's written in Japanese, so I can't read it, but they do have a shoe bill. Some of these I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, for the most part I do. Some of them I don't. I think you've clicked ahead of me. Let me click at. I didn't understand the glasses, but I couldn't read the text. Okay.
Hestia come and join me. Oh, okay. Okay. We have some good Alizés and Alphanos and White Mage. Pure white salt. A nice face painting with Rothgar, and he's eating bread. We have some cute bunny girls.
Yeah, these are great.
A Titania. Stola.
I gotcha. I'm seeing some in here that are entries. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're entries.
Some Hades and some Azim. We got a nice bard. People are so creative. Oh my. He hot though.
Oh yeah.
Innocence was kind of hot though.
Oh yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking of, there's a very delicious Innocence in here. I have not found that one yet, but I'm on the hunt. Yeah,
very nice outfit to begin with, and then the setting was very, very nice. Oh yeah.
Very good entries.
A Snurble. People have done the Snurble a few times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these were like just, I don't remember what the rules were, but it's like use even whatever you got at home. So some of them are like, obviously just like tossed together for fun. I think that's good. That's
a good way to put it. Tossed together for fun.
And others are like serious time and money was used in the creation of this entry.
Like near professional level.
I like both of them for different kinds for different reasons. Hell, the Mandragora Queen is just paper and markers, but it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Chocobo Porter, I've seen that before. Very nice. The creativity. Yeah. A lot of Estinians. There's a lot of Estinian love.
A lot of Estinians, a lot of Amaritines. A lot of love out there.
Oh, the Halloween costume where the ghost with the little pumpkin on his head. that one's pretty good.
Adorable. So some good Alphanos.
Oh, we got a good Nanamo and a good Minfilia. We got some Hildebrands. Hildebrand, God, I hope it comes back in the next patch.
We need some Hildy.
there was some hints of Hildy. I never saw him in the instance, right? That one dungeon at the one spot. Apparently, you can see Hildebrand.
Yeah, his kind of shadow. He kind of looks like he's got stealth on or something.
Yeah,
he's just kind of there.
Yeah, one of the shades or whatever. I've never been able to see him.
Mm. Well, I've never seen Edda in the rain in.
I used to run over to the woodcraft guy, Carpenter's Guild, all the time because I know where Beaten. Yeah. Oh, he's fantastic. But yeah, I've gone over there all the time because I'm like, when it's raining, between 1 and 2 or whatever, and I've never seen her. Yeah. Someday. All right, announcing the Final Fantasy XIV and Twitch collaborative campaign. On the surface, this sounded like a really neat idea.
Yeah.
So from today, whatever day it was that this was posted, 6/24, until August 24, so quite a long time, support your favorite content creators, and you can receive Deluxe Heaven Crackers and the Fat Black Chocobo Mount. Now, the Fat Black Chocobo Mount was something... I already have one. I don't know if it was the Amazon promotion. But some people might already have this mount.
I think it was an Amazon promotion.
Yeah. So the campaign duration's from Thursday, June 24th to Tuesday, August 24th. And log into your Twitch account. If necessary, create one. And visit one of the eligible Twitch channels listed below. While the channel is streaming Final Fantasy XIV Online, so that streamer has to be streaming 14, gift one or a cumulative... I've been drinking wine. Up total of 4 subscriptions to earn rewards. Subscriptions gifted anonymously do not count. And so I think... Do you have to do 4 to get the Chocobo? Anyway,
yeah, I think so.
The full list of eligible Twitch channels, there's quite a few on here. English, there's some French, some German. I'll finish one. The rewards are 1 Twitch... Okay, so you get Heaven's Crackers, and for 4 you get a Fat Black Chocobo Whistle.
Right.
All right. And you get a code. I think, I initially just kind of scrolled down this list, and I don't watch Twitch streamers. I have AFK'd and muted and put on the lowest thing, like for Rust drops and other things for Twitch streamers. But, but some of these actually, like Mione, I've actually watched their videos quite a few times.
Right.
I've met Mr. Happy, I've watched Zepla. But I don't usually watch streamers. But anyway, I didn't even think anything of this until... Oh yeah, at least I know who that is. I didn't really think anything of it until people started analyzing the list. And how there's not a wide amount of, diversity. Yeah. Both in, just diversity. I know people who specifically were calling out there weren't people of color. I heard people calling out that there's, none of the smaller Twitch streamers are represented. There's, some people who have, I don't know, somebody was saying that there's no one with, there's, one that has a similar handicap to her. But other than that, there's just not a lot of diversity. And, the community is right. I didn't notice it. I had a blind spot, but they're right though. They should have maybe dug a little deeper and spread a little wider for a little bit of more representation, both in just popularity to begin with. Some intern probably pulled up the top 30 and just went down the line and picked them or something. I don't know. That's not it's not an excuse or whatever, but I can see the algorithm. I could see where they just didn't even pay any attention. They're like, oh, these, And I had heard stories of some people who had later found that they hadn't been invited, but the mail went to their spam filter, and they missed it. Once they saw this announced, they're like, oh, why didn't I get invited? Well, they had. I've heard of that kind of thing. I don't know anything, firsthand, but I mean, it's well, and on top of it, it's kind of expensive for Twitch subscriptions. What did somebody say? It's is it $20? So it's like buying a mount on the Mog Station. which is, I guess, maybe okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you hear? What did you think?
A similar beginning thought process, but my anger rose the more I thought about this for several reasons. But to start, yeah, I had a similar, I guess I would say a similar blind spot, although I didn't analyze the list. I think I started seeing the pushback before I realized there was a campaign. I think I might have saw one or two people on Twitter that were going like super excited to be part of this collaboration, and then I started seeing some backlash. Initially, after I saw that, I went to this list and I looked, and I also think this was a day I was at home because I had a very deep discussion with my wife about this. She got me on Twitch. Like, I did not watch Twitch. I watched Justin TV back in the day, but I didn't watch Twitch. And she really turned me on to some great streamers like Lyric. And so through watching that, I was like, oh, I recognize JP. He's a huge streamer. He's big. He plays Final Fantasy XIV one day a month. And it was like, oh, that ain't a big time 14. It's just he's big. So we initially were seeing some stuff, just in discussion with my wife about the big streamers gobbling up a lot of the action when they are not dedicated 14 streamers day in, day out. Now, I will say this. JP is very positive about 14. So I'm not trying to – nothing I say here is a bash against any one of these people. Everybody that's on this list deserve their slot based on their notoriety or their communication back with the team or well-likedness or their dedication to their channel, whatever. For some reason, they were
It's not so much about
vetted.
who's on the list. It's about who's not
on the list.
Yeah.
Very, very true. So we were like, okay, so big streamers, but they don't stream 14 all the time. So what about the people who are smaller that stream 14 all the time? How about the streamers that stream right alongside some of the people who are on this list? Like, I see Happy and Asher, and I don't see Sly.
I was going to say, I don't see the streamer I actually have hugged multiple times in real life.
The streamer that I watch of the three is Sly. So, we go to, the Velvet Room pretty often. He does the awesome concerts and the DJ and all the good stuff. So it's like, why is it, what's the blind spot there that, like, what? That's where I said the algorithm earlier, because when you were talking, I thought, it could be the intern was just doing a metric and pulling for the list of the last 90 to 180 days who the top 10 streamers were, and then we put it in a list and we picked the top 100 or something like that. And I don't know how they came up with it. I'm sure there's a formula, a mathematical thing that doesn't take people into concern, that doesn't take the community into concern. I don't know if that's what's the case. I don't know who did the choosing. I don't know whatever, but there's something that needs to be addressed, I think, in that regard. If the who or what did the choosing for this, why there was a blind spot there. Also, a lot of these people, if it was in their inbox, there's multiple ways to get a hold of these streamers. I mean, they want your ad revenue or whatever. And I want to talk about that in a second too. So there's a bunch of ways that you can get a hold of these streamers. So I mentioned my ire rose as I thought about this more, and I thought about those that were left off of the list. And then I had the thought, I put this in our Discord. The whole point of this is to gift subscriptions. Okay, in the past, when my wife plays a lot of Overwatch. And she gets these drops, and you got to park on a channel. I know there have been changes lately. We got to refresh the screen, or you got to, mark that you're still there or whatever. But it's still, you just park and you watch a streamer.
It's in my second monitor. That's how I do it.
I guess they get ad revenue from you watching it or whatever. It's a partnership, what have you. But I'm like, four gifted subs? What's the revenue on that? Where's the split? Who gets what money? And this is where Ruby's going to just talk out of turn. Because I start thinking, if a list of 50 preferred streamers are getting extra revenue that other streamers don't get because this is the method that they want. And especially the more popular you are, the more likely people are going to lean on that channel for ad revenue. Do you think that JP needs a lion's share of the revenue out of this when he's already such a huge streamer as is? This, again, I'm not taking away from JP. He deserves everything he gets because of the great work that he does. And he wouldn't have been chosen for this if not. But from an objective speaking, do you think that the lion's share should go to somebody? And now somebody's probably going, Ruby, they don't get none of that money. What you're saying is bullshit. Well, if that's the case, then what I'm saying is bullshit. But if you can imagine that they were getting money or extra ad revenue because that they would become a quote unquote preferred streamer for this incentive, I start getting a little icky feeling that, you know, somebody who's struggling, they're hustling, they're trying to build a thing, they could have gotten some ad revenue. Somebody could have said, hey, go to Ruby's stream. He's partner. He's just starting up his 20. I don't have a stream. Go to his Twitch channel, and help him out. And, you know, to see an extra $50 or something come through, that might be a game changer. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this, but just something don't sit right with me in the whole grand scheme of it. And I just think it was boffed on the corporate level. I don't know if it was Twitch boffed it, but I think it's Square Enix that boffed it. I don't know how I feel about this. And my whole Twitter comment when all this dropped was, I don't have anything constructive to say about this. Meaning, I was taking the thumper path. I didn't know anything that was good about this that I wanted to say other than congratulations. But again, you know, when you congratulate, it's kind of tone deaf to congratulate people when so many people just got missed in this. So,
but
I do congratulate
like I said,
them.
I had a blind spot too. I'm a straight white chick, and I'm sorry, but I missed it.
Yeah.
But I also now agree that not once it was brought to my attention, I'm like, you know, okay, yeah, a big streamer doesn't really owe a little streamer anything, but I would prefer that they lift up, you know, especially, you know, a smaller streamer that mostly streams 14. I would rather see them get this than someone who, you know, 12 more people coming to their channel to get a chocobo isn't going to make or break it. But some of the smaller streamers, I mean, could be real gems. This should be being used to find new 14 streamers, or in my opinion.
Yeah. Ubiquitous. It should have been where anybody who was streaming this, or an application process. You know, you want to get in on this, apply that your stream can do this.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you're whatever, will approve you as long as they're streaming the thing, and we can. Maybe it was too hard for them to prove. I don't know. Some doesn't sit right with me. It didn't sit right with a lot of people initially. It's been over a week, so I'm wondering if the sentiment is the same. I'd be happy to be proven wrong if somebody says, here's the breakdown. These people don't get any extra money or any more than they would have got from somebody sitting through some ad revenue watching a drop stream. Mm-hmm. Sure, great. Then I'm less angry, other than the fact that I know some good people that should have been on this list. You know,
my only initial thought was purely if someone, what did I put on our Discord? I'm like, you know, Mr. Happy doesn't need my ad revenue. Well, maybe he does, but I put down, if anybody's got knowledge of anyone on this list that's a smaller streamer, I was going to go to them. That's all, really. I really wanted to support a smaller streamer versus a bigger one. But, you know, the pool of streamers is just not that super diverse to begin with. So that's too bad.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, well, when we haven't heard anything back, I usually, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if in another week we get a, you know, official forum that posts that apologizes for whatever and talks about their, you know, they, you know, at least if they didn't fix it right now, right? Even if they weren't going to change it, if they could tell us in the future, we're going to look at more variables in choosing streamers for this, or a different way of selection, I would be fine. But they kind of fucked this one. They kind of, yeah. All right. Now they're going to sell us stuff. Death Unto Dawn. Final Fantasy XIV original soundtrack is coming September 15th. It's 84 songs from patch 5. Whatever, from patch 5.1, Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty, through patch 5.5, Death Unto Dawn.
Hold on, my site's loading. It's like MySpace.
That's okay. I'll just sneeze at you. I'll just sneeze at you until it loads. All right. I don't know. Okay. Do we get a minion? That's all I ever care about.
Did they stop doing that?
I don't know.
I feel like they stopped doing that.
Let me go to purchase here. I do like owning the music, though.
Oh, I do, too. I have them all. I think I still need to buy Shadowbringers, so I may order that at the same time I get this one. Those are the only two physical of the numbered patch things that I don't have. I don't buy all the Primal stuff, although I think I do have every Primals one. I definitely don't have all the piano ones. I have them digitally, but not hard copy. So I buy all the music. But most of the time I will get the physical because I just like to have them on the shelf. I think the colors look good. There's a different color for each one of them. I like
nice
the artwork on them.
Yeah.
And so I have them on the shelf. I got a few of them signed, so that's cool too. But it just looks really nice. So I like physical.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like it does. It says it has an in-game something. Now I have to double check if I already ordered it when I saw it come out, because I've almost ordered two of a couple things because it's like, oh, but I don't know what it didn't say what the in-game item was. It says there is a physical thing in some sort of sleeve, but the music from this expansion has been really good. I mean, this is like a lot of good, interesting stuff. You know, Yorha and all the God Save the Queen stuff is really, really good. All right. Then we have the 7th 14-hour broadcast schedule and guest details. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. It's usually just fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there's not usually too much groundbreaking stuff that comes out of it, but but it can be entertaining. And a lot of it, especially for people who don't speak Japanese, is you don't know what's going on anyway. A lot of times somebody in the community will try to do real-time translations. But, all right, this is Friday, July 9th. And they also note that there's preventative COVID-19 measures, so... All right, and it's at 6 p.m. PDT, and they're going to do an introduction at 6, then they're going to do Letter from the Producer live, and then How Do You Like Hydaelyn, a live Q&A, Soken's play-by-play, Our Tales of Adventure, and Haruki versus Yoshi P Round 9. So... oh, good. It's Yoko Taro from Yorha Dark Apocalypse is the...
Yeah, I was, just looking through this, I don't know if anybody's going to ride a mechanical bull for Atma this year. That was always fun.
It was memorable. At least it was memorable. We're still talking about it years later.
We're still talking about it. Well, we're still talking about Atma Farms years later. Yeah, Yoko Taro. The only comment I've got on this isn't even about him. I had read sometime either today, yesterday, the day before, that the Final Fantasy XII guy who was helping with the script, he says he's done doing 14 stuff for now. It's he's wrapped it all up and there won't be any more. And I heard cheers from people. I think it was on the official forums that were tired of the boring Final Fantasy XII content. Blasphemy to some, maybe not to others. Yoko Taro here, I'm happy to see him. It's funny that it's time to take a look back. And I'm kind of done taking a look back after this one. I'm gonna be real frank with you. I'm kind of ready to Yoko Taro out. Go make us some other game. Go do something cool.
I enjoy playing Nier, but I didn't enjoy it quite as much in 14.
It's been good. See ya.
All right, and then How Do You Like Hydaelyn is in this gameplay segment. Captain Takeda and Gunisaka
Yeah.
will be undertaking the challenge of learning blue magic. Come cheer the team on and maybe even follow along and learn some blue magic yourself.
Ooh.
So that sounds like that might be the goofy one, maybe. We'll see.
Sure.
We'll see. And then live Q&A, it's going to be Yoshi P answering questions posed live by players, so it's going to be a travesty, and we're going to ask about 4 times why we don't have blueberries.
Right, where's our Eggy Glamour? God, I hope that question is destroyed in 6.0 when they remove Eggies. That's what I hope.
I think we talked about this last time. I would be in favor of summoners and scholars just summoning stuff. Well, maybe they leave the fairy, but I don't know. All right, then Soken's play-by-play is insight and commentary as we take a closer look at the background music from Final Fantasy XIV. We're in for a wild but informative ride through some of your favorite tracks. So that's cool. Our Tales of Adventure is going to be big fans of 14. Hear them recount their tales and experiences as warriors of light, which you may find to be quite similar to your own. I don't know these people, but there's like 6 people that...
Nishimura baby looks like a comedian. I don't know.
Tomoha Reifud. I don't know who these people are, but they must mean something to have big pictures like this. So if any of our listeners know who the hell these people are, but it, if these are, I wonder if they're like famous or semi-famous people who play 14 and are talking about it, or maybe they're just streamers or something. I don't know. All right, there's Hiroki versus Yoshi P. Is just a wide range of topics. So,
I like his picture here next to this.
Next to the Sphinx or the Pharaoh. That's
because he's got the same profile. That's what he's going for. You see,
got the same smile. Yep. Very nice. I'll at least tune in for the live letter, and I'll probably browse the rest of the stuff maybe when it's over. All right, then quickly, let's take some shots. And the big one, all the community, and my hands are going big wide here, the official forums, other forums, all of YouTube videos about it, Discord chats are all about it, streamers are talking about it. The WoW train is rolling in, and what does that mean for Final Fantasy XIV? Well, this is like the second or third wave, but it's really, by all means, it seems like it's the one that has like the most big time WoW popular streamers and stuff with like large audiences and stuff, and a lot of WoW players are giving Final Fantasy XIV a try, to different reactions, and then of course Final Fantasy XIV fans are now covering all of this.
That's what I'm seeing too. You're right. There's been plenty of WoW refugees who have come over before. Something happened with Shadowlands, if I'm saying the expansion right. I don't know a whole lot about WoW. I'm trying to learn more as I watch this kind of crossover thing happen right now. And it seems to me, and don't listen to me, go watch people who actually know what they're talking about with WoW, but it seems to me that Shadowlands first patch or whatever, people are just sick of, I guess it's funny because we complain that 14 doesn't have this at times, this endless grind, this just doing for no reason almost, and I guess things just feel empty. I don't want to put words in people's mouths. Go listen to these big players who are giving things a shot. They will immediately say, I still love WoW, but here's what's broken. And they will tell you exactly what they feel is broken. And it's about content I don't know anything about. It's about drops and grinds that I've never experienced, but they have, and they see it. In fact, I didn't even put this in the notes. There was a video that came out within the last 2 weeks by a very popular WoW player or WoW content creator who makes these. You remember like the Newgrounds videos, Yelta, or it's just kind of that weird art style, and they almost look like little flash movies or whatever. Well, this guy makes these little movies like this, and this one, they're always about WoW, and it's something neat, and I think they're a little meta or something. But this one was about his experience with WoW, and it was him buying, like, just real quick, he goes through this timeline of how he bought WoW, he played it with all his friends, and they came on, and everything was good, and it was happy, and then the population boomed, and and it just got good with each expansion. And then with the bringing of, I guess, cash shops and boosts and things of this nature, you start to see in this comic that the cash starts handing, and things get bigger, but then nothing gets better, and you start to see the first player kind of fall away, and then some more content comes out, and people put their cash on the table, and more people start falling away, and still it all falls away, and he's left by himself, and then Classic WoW comes out, and everybody comes back to play again, and then the cash starts going across the table again, and it's the same old, and I think there's something in that WoW players are feeling about that same old, and they don't listen to the community. They're just pumping out content to pump out content, and they're not listening. So when they see things like, well, for one, there was a survey that went out, a WoW survey, and they asked, do you or anyone you know play Final Fantasy XIV, or are you ready for Endwalker or something like that? WoW players looked at that as, damn, y'all scared of 14 at this point? You're actually asking us, the community, about 14?
Be like, go check this out almost,
like,
right?
You don't like that other person, do you? Just like, I'm just wondering.
I like him. I don't like him.
You don't like them, do you? Like, so, yeah. So that was kind of a thing. And then, you started seeing some people give it a shot, and they said, you know what? It ain't that bad. I think the biggest hurdle that I keep hearing these WoW refugees say that their entry into 14, other than A Realm Reborn. We all know A Realm Reborn is a problem.
Well, A Realm Reborn is not, but again, it's an intentional problem, right?
Well, true.
They purposely made it slow, and they made it easy, and they made it gentle for brand new players.
Yes.
And it's people complain about the story, and I'm like, it's not that bad.
Well,
but it's clunky and slow and whatever, but
there's some things that need clean, and they did a good job, but it is a slow grind. But we haven't talked about this one yet. In the next video, the Jesse Cox video that also has been going around, Jesse Cox says he hated it, had quit, came back at one point, and now post. Once you get into Heavensward, it's smooth sailing, right? Everybody loves Heavensward, and everybody, Stormblood is Stormblood, but it's not terrible. Is that without A Realm Reborn's context, you can't feel the rest of the story. You have to have that slow burn of what A Realm Reborn is. I mean, can you imagine us freeing people from their tempering if we had not gone through all of the Realm Reborn stuff? All of that shit's about the tempering. Right. So there's a lot more to it than just that. But
don't get me wrong. WoW made you fetch cheese fucking sandwiches too. Okay?
That was commented on.
People complain about the fetch quests and whatever, and I'm like, that is an MMO staple. Yes, some skip past it, but I have played WoW, and but to be fair, I'm biased. I actually love early game. I actually don't mind fetch quests. For me, it's kind of fun to run around and figure out how fast and how whatever I can do them, but. Its story and questing ain't all that either.
Well, yes, and the lore doesn't really back up the fetch quests, and I also heard comments like, well, in 14 they make you fetch 5 and not 100 of an item, so, there's that in comparison to WoW. But, back on the refugee and why, there's something fundamentally wrong with the way WoW is listening to its player base, and they see Yoshi P come out on stage dressed like a Reaper. The fans cheer for him. They love him. He listens to the audience. He cries for Soken. People love him. The stories, they start going back and watching the documentaries, the no-clip documentary about the 1.0 and stuff. Do you know in that one-clip documentary, at the end of the first part when they introduce Yoshi P, or maybe the beginning of the second part, he tells the story of when he introduced himself as the producer and said, we are going to work another year on this, and we're going to do it right. We're going to get it going. And people looked at him like he was crazy. And one man in the audience came out and said, "I'm with you, boss." And it was Soken. And he tells that story in that documentary that's, 2 years old or 3 years old now. And he told that story again when he talked about Soken and his cancer diagnosis. Listen, there's something that resonates in 14. It's the hard work, the dedication, the trust that we've put in Yoshi P for it to come through. We will follow that man through fire, through the 8th Umbral Calamity. We don't care. And that's something that WoW players are like, holy shit, we want to fly under that banner. Or at least for our game. They're not abandoning WoW, but they're saying, we want some of that magic that you guys have. We're just afraid you're all a bunch of, weeaboos. Sorry, gotta say the word. That's really
people
the
complain
high
about,
barrier.
And people complain about the anime style. To me, it doesn't even look that anime.
It doesn't look anime to me either. But, maybe I'm so used to it.
But wall graphics are very different. They're very cartoony and bright. It looks like Toontown. But
oh sure, yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that. But people who are like, I don't like the graphic style, and I'm like, that's a taste thing, but why don't you, download the my brain shut off. Mama Yelta's getting old. Just, try the free trial.
Right.
See if it really
critically
feels...
acclaimed.
Yes. Well, some people hate cat girls, right? You can't
that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what they say. I see cat
You're
girls.
biased about cat girls.
And you guys are just fetishists. You guys have a bunch of Final Fantasy 14 or a bunch of and it's actually kind of true if you really dig
they're
into these
not whacking
communities.
off to blood elves. Come on.
Well, I'm sure they are. That was the whole point, right? The Tauren are just super fucking sexy to me. I should go play. WoW. No, I honestly, there's something to that, but I think it also goes with, the player base and the type of thing it attracts. And this is going back to Jesse Cox's statement that I said at the earlier part of the podcast in his video, is that WoW is an MMORPG. It's MMO first and then an RPG. There's a story. It's gotten better as it goes.
There's kind of a story, but you really
in
don't
the
have
beginning,
to know it.
It was not. You didn't play WoW for the story. You
Oh
played
my
WoW
God.
so you could kill people.
Well,
in
and
the PvP world.
Do you remember my rant about WoW and about I was doing part of the story, and it was echoing Warcraft 3 storyline, and I was like losing my fucking mind with one of my friends who's playing with me, and he'd done the dungeon 10 times or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, this is when blah 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 happens, and the plague and blah 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 blah, and he's like, what? He played it through all the time, and he had no idea there's like a big, deep lore reason from another game. There's lore in there, but they bury it so deep.
Well, yeah, World of Warcraft is like, what, Worldcraft 4, I guess? I mean, it's, there was Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, and then World of Warcraft carried on those storylines, but it didn't seem to me that anybody cared about that either. You never talk about. Nowadays, you do, because there's books and there's lore books and there's and we have some of those even in my home here. That we have WoW lore, and I have the Final Fantasy lore books too. But those are addendums to what's already in the game. If I wanted to
There
get
might be
a sneak
tidbits,
peek,
but it's not going to explain to you.
into how
you already know it.
Alizé and Alphinaud's father, well, I knew who he was 5 years ago because of a lore book, but I didn't really know, till now. So, but it wasn't pivotal to the in-game stuff, whereas some of the WoW stuff is, if you care about it, you don't have to know it. So what Jesse Cox was saying, it's MMO RPG, whereas 14 is an RPG MMO. Yoshida has made that abundantly clear that he really wants you to experience the story. And that's what I was saying with, you can run old content undersized and finally see some stuff. You can, what else?
You can do New Game Plus.
New Game Plus.
You can easily roll a new character. I've run, multiple characters through the storyline. It's not that time consuming.
No.
Okay, it's a little time consuming. But if you play an MMO.
And that's why story is no longer locked behind certain content, at least major story aspects. It's all about the story. And we've even seen with the addition of the trust system, even though that is an easing of ways that people can make groups and get on with the content.
It very much lets you solo it, but it also lets you get in there. And it also has more storytelling in it.
Of a storytelling unit,
I've actually said that I'm going to start. Well, I have start doing the new dungeons the first time with the trust, just because they say things and they do things, and it kind of means a little more. I don't like, and that's just me. I don't like the turning hard on the solo ability of things, but I can accept it for the story.
Absolutely. I think it just helps tell a continuous story. I know there are aspects that you and I both don't like about the trust system, and about some of the comments Yoshida has made in the past about treating people like NPCs and just kind of go with it, where you just get this read between the lines that if 14 was a solo game, okay. And I get that in the sense where, I have a child, I kind of sometimes I just want to do stuff by myself, whatever else, or I should be able to experience a numbered Final Fantasy story in entirety without being held back. I can't do that with Dragon Quest, although soon they're making a Dragon Quest X offline mode, and who's over that division? Yoshida! So, it all makes sense to me that single-player MMO is kind of the way that at least Square Enix wants to do things in the future. They want the story to be the forefront, everybody to be able to experience the main story aspects and have a complete story, not the DLC, I suppose, but a complete story there that is not stopped.
Not dependent on finding 3 to 7 other people.
Correct.
Or, 24.
Thank you. My brain was about to shut off. Thank you for saving my statement there. I too am getting old.
Well, and as someone who does accept the MSQ comes first, you can't solo everything in the game, but I don't really mind if the MSQ is basically soloable. But,
Agreed.
the other rides you do have to play with other people.
True. But it's not that hard. I'm doing the Eureka ride, and it's not that hard by myself. Not super hard. So, yeah, I just think that this game is not that difficult, and it is difficult in the little aspects that it's difficult, but I'm also hearing the sentiment that the WoW players like that it doesn't feel like a forever grind. They seem to be okay with the sense that you can turn it off and it's not a forever thing, but there's enough stuff to do that it feels varied. So
I feel like they haven't experienced, from what the videos and articles and whatever from WoW players, WoW must not do the catch-up mechanics like we do.
No, they do not.
They do the boosts that you buy, but 14 very much, and this is for years and years now, when something is outdated, it is, and only barely outdated, right? The people in our free company just cleared the last Eden Savage, just in the last couple weeks. It's now nerfed.
Yeah.
Right? So, I cleared Alexander the night before the nerf.
So did I.
Right? Yeah, you did before me because you saw me in there.
Seconds.
It was a minute. It was minutes. It really was. But anyway, I don't think the WoW players have experienced the sort of easing of content. So 14 very much is a gear treadmill, and we've very much complained about it. But at the same time, it is their design decision. And part of that treadmill is the easing of content as you go. So really, a brand new, and that's why it tickles me when people are like, is it too late to join the game? And I'm like, are going to your first job is going to shoot up in levels. You're going to do the MSQ. You're going to get, the game will throw gear at you to get you to the end. Not in a bad way, but it eases old content. I don't know if WoW ever did that. Did they up drop rates of things? Did they? I honestly don't know. I have played WoW. I mostly played at an endgame level around the Wrath of the Lich King, you know, and I did a little bit of raiding with a couple different groups and stuff. So, I've played WoW, but not super deep. I liked it. I enjoyed my time in WoW.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of got this going in the background, the Asmongold Zepla video. That's one of the two videos. And I recommend, if you can... Look, I know there's a lot of negative opinions about either Asmongold or his community or both, but Zepla does at least 50% of the talking in this video, and Zepla, I think, is pleasant to listen to, and she makes really good points that catches Asmongold off guard, and he's like, oh, really? I did not know that. Oh, for real? They have that? So Zepla makes some really good points, and she has an extensive WoW background. So she is well-versed to talk about both games. So I thought this was a pleasant interview. It is on Asmongold TV. It's called The Greatest MMO Crossover. Asmongold and Zepla talk about 14 versus WoW. It's not really versus. It's more like a compare, contrast. And one thing, as I had in the background, they were talking about mounts. I recall them talking about, like in WoW, getting some world boss or doing whatever is some almost near impossible task. Some people don't ever see some world bosses ever. When you get some certain mount, it really is a very, look at me. Look what I achieved in the distant past that you'll never be able to achieve. I got this. It's me. Look at me. And 14 is really... There is some look at me, but everybody can attain that. Yeah, people have Ozma mounts, but hey, get a BA group. Do the work. Get up there. You can get it. You can get it.
You can accomplish it.
You can accomplish
Or buy it off
things.
the Mog Station.
Or buy it. But, it's those kind of things that it's not everything is completely, unless it's some ancient something or another, is completely out of your grasp, and it's not really... 14 doesn't come off as a me, look at my achievement game.
Well,
it's very
but that's
helpful.
me, look at me standing in Ishgard with your weapons out. I still see it. People with ultimate titles or whatever. But that's just I fully think that's an MMO staple. There should be some stuff that's
you gotta
really
have something to go
rare,
for,
right?
Yes.
Something with there's stuff with low drop rates. 14 has some, but they're just not as extreme, I think.
Right.
I do think we could benefit from a few more super rare pops just based on luck or, some hunt mobs that are hard and drop something amazing but cosmetic. I do think we could actually use it for a few more of those. It feels like that's missing to me a little bit.
Well, and we're missing some, I miss having some more, Odin-type stuff and some open ways. So, maybe you can tie some other things in that have, a really crazy low drop rate. That would be okay. Not that it's everywhere. I think there's some balance and there's some things that 14 can learn from WoW in that regard. But this is, one of the major points, is that 14 does look at WoW and say, we like some of the things they're doing. There may be some things that they need to grab from WoW.
They were ordered to play it, weren't they? Weren't
Right.
they originally ordered to play it?
Originally ordered to play it.
WoW devs sent Yoshi P congratulations letters before.
Sure.
It's not a versus thing.
It's not a versus thing. No.
They're two very different games, and people can enjoy one or the other or both.
Yeah, absolutely. A point that I think Asmongold makes, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but I feel like he had made the point that he doesn't feel like WoW is looking at 14 other than as a competition and not what could we be doing better that they're doing,
right.
Where 14 looks at WoW and says, hey, how can we add other elements? How can we meet other players and borrow other things? So he's saying that 14 has just a better way of looking at the competitors. Even in that no-clip documentary, they said that the 1.0 staff, the original Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 staff, did not play WoW before. Some of them had not ever
They
heard of it.
didn't know what an
or seen
MMO
it.
was.
Didn't know where it was.
No,
Didn't know what it was.
I don't think some people even knew what an MMO was when they were designing that version of the game.
Right. What Yoshida says, he was looking to buy it anyway. Like, he was a WoW player. Like, this was important to him, and there's the difference. There's when you think your stuff is great and you're not willing to be open-minded about feedback, or in Yoshida's case, I think even better is you go looking for other greatness to try to borrow from or emulate and become great himself. And I don't think it was about Yoshida being great. I think it was, look, this is the most successful MMO. WoW is the most successful MMO of all time. What
they must be doing something right. What can we? They, Fates came from Guild Wars. Do you remember way back, probably before Gather Together even existed? I think in 2.0, we had discussed how, at the time anyway, Final Fantasy XIV didn't do anything super unique or amazing, but it did all the right stuff correctly.
Sure. Yes.
All the thoughts and ideas it borrowed from other games, it polished it and made it work well. But
right.
it didn't really do anything. Maybe the story, right? Being deeply story or whatever. But it didn't really do anything unique, but it did all the not unique stuff really well. And now they've started doing some, I think, unique stuff, and they've got to, we complain sometimes about the gear treadmill, about the predictability, but they keep throwing new stuff at us too, so I don't even know that complaint anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshi-P is not scared to see what's working well in other games, and they're not scared to steal what works.
Not at all. It's funny that you talked about the predictability. I'm just to switch gears and shout out Jesse Cox's video, and it's called 15 Years of WoW versus 1 Year of Final Fantasy XIV. And it's a well put together. It's just Jesse kind of narrating the origins of WoW, the origins of 14, how they relate, how they contrast. It's very well done. And this came after Asmongold and Zepla's video, because it actually has some clips of that in here, or some pictures of it in here anyway. But one thing he's talking about the predictability, I'm trying to get to the spot in the video just to see it, the visual, but he lined up the production schedule of a patch cycle in WoW versus 14, and where WoW will have a trailer, some sort of like pre-patch, like a book, and then a pre-patch, and then the actual expansion launches, and then there's just there's 3 other patches that tell a continuous story. It tells like one continuous whole story. But 14 has, you've got the 2 pre-patches, which is really the 0.4 and the 0.5, that start giving you an idea of where the story is going to go. We've got a full trailer and an expansion, so there's no little tidbits here and there. We get the full thing, what we're getting into. We have a full story within the expansion, a completed story, and then 3 other patches that tell an addendum to that story, or complete some nuances that we didn't complete in that expansion before we hit the next 0.4 and go through the cycle again. And while I guess both can somewhat have their merits, 14 just tells a better story this way. You feel complete when you get an expansion. You don't feel like you have to play every patch to get the entire story. You'll want to, because the story will pull you forward, but if you just play an expansion, you get a full story. So Yoshida sells you a complete story when you buy an expansion without you having to play any other patches within that expansion. You could basically go, hey, I know what happened to Emmett Selk, and I know what happened to the Asians, and Warrior Light's good, and we saved the day, hip hip hooray. And that's it. So the Jesse Cox video makes some really fantastic points around that. I highly recommend that you watch that one too. I can't say enough about, I guess a final point I'll make on top of all of this is that be open-minded as a player. WoW players, my understanding is that they're not coming in trashing up the joint. All right, these WoW people just want to have a good time in an MMO. They can't murk you in open world. There's no open world PvP. A horde orc isn't going to come and kill you in Gridania, so don't worry. I just think it's great. Anything that brings more people to 14, more awareness of 14, it's more money to 14. It's still Yoshida helming the ship. He's the pilot. He's the captain. The more money that pours into this game is the more stuff that they can do. More inventory slots, more good, more server
upgrades.
All of the above. Be open-minded. Be good. Because these people want to play. They want to play the old stuff too. You know, it may be a reason why this Eureka's popping. There may be some people in there just trying to get some old stuff because they've never got to experience this content and they like it. They like the grind. They're used to the grind. So, I think there's room enough in 14 for all until an expansion drops and we're all stuck at Raban because there's too many fucking people clicking the same.
Raban. Hey, they changed that shit so it throws you into a queue now anyway. So that's
there you go.
Good. I have seen some what I would consider deep fucking paranoia about the WoW people coming in and basically taking over the game and all being fucking trolls. I'm just going to say this. First of all, don't stress. You can't do anything about it. If that happens, it happens. But treat people like you want to be treated. If someone comes in and needs help and they're a newbie, it doesn't matter if they're from WoW or if they're from Aeon or if they've never touched an MMO before. Help them out. If they come in and are complete toxic assholes, you know, report and blacklist like you would anyone else.
Yep.
There's not much else you can do. And then, you know, I know some people are like worried about, you know, the different streamers will get popularity. You know what? Who cares? Go watch the stream you like. Support them. You know, Ruby and I have talked a lot of times about, you know, our show and what we want it to be and what we don't care about it being. If someone likes listening to us, fine. If they don't, then go find something you do. I don't care. Find your people. But, you know, there is such a small subset of people who would continue to sub to a game and just to be toxic assholes. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the influx of new players could change the development cycle of the game. It's entirely possible. Yoshi P is very, very into listening to his players, but he also has a plan. There's stuff I want we're not going to ever get. Because he's said straight out, that's not his vision of the game. And it's fine.
If these WoW players can bring better PvP to this game, I'm all for it.
And maybe they could. I still don't want open world PvP. And if they do, that would make me quit. But,
they will
seriously. never do open world PvP. I remember getting to like Strangle Thornvale or something. I don't remember what it was called. And wow, and just walking in for my first time and being insta-killed over and over again. I'm like, I think that's enough WoW for today.
Yeah. Oh, that's not fun.
That does nothing for me.
No, but if they can make the instance
actual PvP fun and interesting,
fun.
Yeah, I'm for that. Yeah. I like consensual PvP to a point.
As long as there's a safe word, it's fine.
All right. We've got a What's on Tap. Just real quick, Rock in the Light of the Crystal. This is about the electric guitar. It's a new instrument to Bard's performance mode. It actually has quite a few options: overdriven, clean, muted, power chords, and special. It actually technically looks really, real interesting, but I'll never know because I shut that shit off day one.
There you go.
But no, it's actually technically a very interesting, cool thing. You know, the way they can do like performance mode, and then they can like, you know, play with a keyboard. You know, it's just, and it looks amazing. It looks a lot like the actual, you know, real life guitar we're gonna get here. Oh, and there's Yep, the wall hanging version.
Honestly, the guitarist here, when I'm watching the video, plays a different style, I guess, of the 5 styles. He has a different stance. The way he strums and stands over the guitar is different based on, like, I guess the power chords, he's like slamming it. It's interesting.
It is interesting. I just don't need to hear a fucking electric guitar every time I teleport to our city. That really bothers me. I'm so glad they let us shut it off. But it's actually pretty cool what they were able to do with these performance things. Oh yeah, I see the whole your character strums the guitar differently according to the tone you're playing.
Oh, well now I see that. I just inferred that from the video. It's a beautiful guitar.
Of course, this is just going to make, this is just halfway as an advertisement to when you actually buy the real life guitar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like the way this is lit up, but I feel like that is a little misleading because the guitar doesn't actually light up from the inside. It's just the way this picture looks. He really
had to shine a light from the other side for you to even see there was crystals.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little sad on the real life guitar that they didn't make it more intense.
I would almost, if I hung this on a wall, put some LED, like some kind of something on the wall behind it to really let that shine, like some toggles. But I'm not a guitar aficionado. I just think it would be a neat art piece. Maybe some people really would play it. I think you said what your son said.
My son's like, yeah, that's actually a nice
stuff.
guitar.
Yeah.
Cool design.
Well, it's not a watch, so I won't be getting it. I only want the watch.
Oof. All right. Well, I think we're done here. I think it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. And if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. And thank you to those who have. You can find us on Twitter at gtffxiv. You can email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Ruby, personal plug.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at Yelta Sumasu, YeltaSumasu.